Also consistent with Assembly Bill 361, all public comment will be taken telephonically. To begin, I'd like to call the roll. So I'm going to call the names of the commissioners and confirm who's present. I know absent are Commissioner Scarfano and Commissioner Ho. Yvonne Gallardo.
Present.
Ray Jimenez.
Present.
Robert Vinson.
Present.
Eric Paquette. And I'm here, Charmaine Jefferson. And we believe Mr. Paquette will be joining us. When he does, we'll note that for the record. Our first order of business is item number 3, Neighborhood Council Representatives. Do we have any Neighborhood Council Representatives on today? Hearing none, let's move on to items 4 and 5, which are public comment on non-agenda items that are germane to the commission and public comment on agenda items. Are there any such comments? Hearing none, let me read out loud for you the information that is on the agenda. As indicated on the agenda, members of the public wishing to offer public comment should call, and I'm missing a phone number. Did I miss it?
No. Scott, are you able to read out the phone number, please?
Sure. So the number to call in is 669-900-6833.
669-900-66.
Sorry, correction. That's 669-900-6833.
6833. 669-900-6833. And use which meeting ID number do you want?
Meeting ID number is 939-6621-5269. Once again, 939-6621-5269.
And then you'll press pound. So again, if you have any public wishing to offer public comment, should call 669-900-683. And then use the meeting ID 939-6621-5269, and then press the pound sign. Then press the pound again when you're prompted for participant ID. Once you're admitted to the meeting, press 9 to request to speak. Once you're through, you can press *6 to unmute yourself. And if that is clear for everyone, then let's get started with the first public speaker. What agenda items that they may want to speak on, if we have any such public speakers. It appears we do not. And so then let's move on to the our approval of the minutes, which would be the minutes of the meeting from April 13th, 2022. Can I get a motion for approval?
So moved.
Get a second?
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Moved by Gallardo, second by Jimenez. All in favor?
Aye.
That was Robert Vinson. Gallardo?
Yeah.
Aye.
I'm gonna, since I wasn't here, I need to abstain from voting. I did review them, so can I still vote for them?
My understanding is that an abstention ends up counting as a vote for the item with the recognition that you
Got it.
had abstained. Am I correct, staff team?
Yeah, I believe so. So I'll go ahead and abstain since I wasn't present.
Not a problem. That's a yes for Charmaine, which means that we have an approval of the minutes. All right, so the item number 7 is related to our findings to continue teleconference meetings pursuant to AB 361. Since the staff and the agency are still moving back in to be working all together. It's our recommendation to adopt the findings and determination in accordance with AB 361, Section 3E3, that while the state of emergency due to COVID-19 pandemic, as originally proclaimed by the governor on March 4th, 2020, remains active, and or state or local officials have imposed or recommended measures to promote social distancing, this legislative body has reconsidered the circumstances of the state of emergency, read that the state of emergency continues to directly impact the ability of the members to meet safely in person, and or state or local officials continue to impose or recommend measures to promote social distancing. Are there any commissioners that wish to speak on this item? If not, then members, I'd like us to vote to go ahead and continue the teleconferencing for at least this meeting. And if I'm not mistaken, it would cover the next meeting as well. Staff, please correct me if I'm wrong.
That is correct. That extends us through another 30 days of being able to teleconference.
Thank you. With that in mind, with that recommendation, can I have a motion to approve?
I motion to approve continuing teleconference meetings
Thank you.
pursuant to AB 361.
Thank you, Commissioner Gallardo. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Jimenez. Let's take a roll call vote. Commissioner Vincent,
Yes.
Commissioner Gallardo,
Yes.
Commissioner Jimenez,
Yes.
and I, Charmaine Jefferson, vote yes. Great. So let's get on to the business of the fun stuff. Items 8, 9, and 10 are on our agenda for us to deal with. Let's start with item number 8, which is the Memorial Day South LA Cultural Festival. And I believe, Ben, are you the one presenting this project?
I will certainly tee it up for the commission, Commissioner Jefferson.
Okay, thank
And
you.
very good afternoon, commissioners. My name is Ben Espinosa. I'm from the Grants Administration Division. I'd like to request Scott to share my screen, please. I think I'm currently lacking a presence. I take it back. I have it again. I'd like the first item up is the Memorial Day South LA Cultural Fest proposed by
I'm sorry,
Reimagine
Mr.
LA.
Espinosa, can I stop you for just 1 second? I just want to make sure of something. To the staff, when it appears on my screen to admit someone into the meeting, you guys are seeing the same thing. You're doing it, right? Not me.
I am controlling the people in the waiting room, so everyone has been admitted.
Got it. Okay. I just wanted to make sure I could ignore that. Please forgive me, anybody who's listening. I have not actually handled the meeting via Zoom, so anything could happen at this moment. All right. Sorry, Mr. Espinosa.
Thank you, Commissioner Jefferson. First item is the Memorial Day South LA Cultural Fest proposed by the Reimagine LA Foundation. They are requesting $20,000 in city funding to support this community event that will reach up to 1,000 community members, taking place Saturday, May 8th at the Gilbert Lindsay Park and Recreation Center in Council District 9. Letters of support have been provided by the Office of Councilmember Kern Price, Diana Sanchez, a community member and prior year event attendee, and Josh Finley, president of University Little League. At this time, I'd like to invite Mr. Rashad Rucker-Trapp from Reimagine LA Foundation to unmute and introduce and say hello to the commissioners today as I share my screen and prepare your presentation.
And Mr. Rucker-Trapp, before you begin, I think, Mr. Espinosa, you said May 8th and you meant May 28th.
That is correct. My apologies. May 28th.
Well, good afternoon, commissioners. I'm not sure if everybody could hear me.
You're good.
Awesome. My name is Rashad Rucker-Trapp. I am the executive director for Reimagine LA. Also serve as a fellow commissioner for the Commission for Community and Family Services as well. So I definitely understand we go through the same protocols of Zoom and everything. So it's like unpredictable what can happen. So my hat's off to you, Madam Chair, for leading this, and to the board commissioners as well. We're very excited to be hosting this event at Gilbert Lindsay Park, the South LA Community Cultural Fest, in partnership with Councilmember Kern Price, as well as a host of other community leaders and community cultural folks, excuse me for getting tongue-tied here. But anyway, the event will be taking place, as mentioned, Saturday, May 28th at Gilbert Lindsay Dodger Dreamfield, which will be at the corner of San Pedro and 42nd Street. We'll be taking over that whole baseball field, that whole outer baseball field, to display a array of cultural and arts, primarily focused in the Central American, Latin American communities, as well as the Korean and African American and Korean communities. So we'll have like a host of a famous violinist by the name of Esther Anaya, who will be doing some pop cultural music on her violin, and also through another program that we're sponsoring, we'll be debuting a group of students who she has been teaching, have been giving lessons on the violin at a music facility in Pico Union. We also will be partnering with Cultural Clash, as well as Tommy the Clown, as well as the Caribbean Cultural Fest, who will display some Caribbean dances, as well as a Korean drum group. I dare not say their name because I always mess up on their name, but they will be displaying also a array of pop cultural drum solos through a variety of songs or whatnot. Tommy the Clown, of course, will be coming and engaging the community in dancing and all of that stuff. We'll also have a array of an art area for contemporary artists. Jake Montoya, who's a neighborhood resident of the of CD9. Our DJ will have three. One of them who is actually a local, who lives in the neighborhood of the park at Gilbert Lindsay, who usually is the main contact, if you will, for a lot of the events that take place at Gilbert Lindsay. The timeline for it, we're already approaching May 16th, which we're going to be doing a mailer in partnership with Councilmember Karen Price. Again, we're reaching out to we're doing a reach out to pretty much all of South LA, getting folks and primarily people in and around the neighborhood, just to get them back, welcome them back to their park since COVID. It's one of the first events that's going to actually be taking place at that park that has since COVID and whatnot. So our timeline, sorry, I feel like I'm talking faster than I'm thinking right now. Forgive me. But so as I was saying, we're going to be doing a mailer. We're going to be doing door hangers. We're going to be doing the social media e-blast. Here's our budget, where we've listed our artists, our folks who we are paying as far as DJ equipment, as far as DJ parks, and the funding. Of course, if approved, the 20,000 is specifically for artists, and then the other payments that we'll be making will be through a variety of other grants and donations through our other partners as well. Our flyer. Again, the event will be May 28th from 11 to 5, Gilbert Lindsay Recreation, Dodger Dreamfield on the corner of 42nd 2nd, and San Pedro. We're really excited about this event. We're actually, as we progress forward to putting on this event, we actually are, and as the word begins to spread about on this event, we're actually starting to get tapped, if you will, on other performers that just wants to participate as well. A lot of them now pro bono and wanting to just be a part of this exciting event here. So we're really looking forward to it. We hope that if approved, that you guys as well come out and enjoy that day. And at this time, I'll of course take any questions that the commission may have.
Commissioners, do you have any questions? Commissioner Vincent, since I can't see you, I just want to make sure I'm not missing you.
No, he had me at Tommy the Clown.
That's right. I haven't seen Tommy in a long time. All right. Well, in that case, you've asked the cultural affair for $20,000, and it appears that most of that is going towards artist fees, something this commission loves so much. With that in mind, can I ask for a motion to approve?
I move to approve.
Commissioner Vincent approves. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Jimenez. Any other conversation? All in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry, I need to do a roll call. My apologies. Jimenez,
Yes.
Gallardo,
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Charmaine Jefferson, yes. Congratulations, Mr. Trapp. We're
Thank you.
pleased to have it. Good luck.
All righty. Thank you so much. And I look forward to hopefully seeing some of you guys out there on the 28th.
Thank you, and for paying those artists.
Yes, of
Okay.
course.
Thank you, Rashad. Nice job.
Thank you.
With that in mind, I'm moving quickly because I want to make sure we can get through before we might lose Mr. Vincent to the South Central Community Resiliency. Mr. Espinoza.
Thank you. This is a pop-up event proposed in Council District 9 it's in a public alleyway behind the On and Kraken Barbecue restaurant. This is a $10,000 grant request activating this public alleyway that is adjacent to the South Central Great Streets corridor in CD9. This is a pop-up event serving 200 in person, 200 online, $10,000 directed toward 10 artists and ensembles. Letters of support have been submitted by the Office of Councilmember Curran Price, Kevin Roten, who is the owner and operator on the Kraken Barbecue. At this point, I'd like to invite Mr. William Flores Diaz and Ms. Mercedes Carreto to unmute yourselves. Say hello to the commission as I prepare your presentation.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Greetings. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
My name is William Giovanni Flores Diaz. I'm with the South Central Arts, founder of the South Central Arts, and I'm here with Mercedes Carreto. Thank you so much for your time and for this presentation. So welcome to the South Central Community Resiliency event planned for June 25th, 2022 from 12 to 3 p.m. We are the South Central Arts, a grassroots network of artists, organizers, and allies that come together to address social justice issues in South Central since 2017. And we do this by uplifting the work of local entrepreneurs, local artists, and cultural producers since 2017. The purpose of this event is to celebrate the community thriving despite the going through the pandemic for the past 2 years and a stay-home ordinance. We want to activate a freshly renovated alleyway parallel to South Central Avenue, and we want to create a safe environment that would uplift the work of local artists where residents can safely connect with each other and their local representatives. To the left, you'll see a picture of what the alley looked like Currently, it is undergoing renovations due to another project called the Green Alleyways Network Project, thanks to the Trust for Public Land and the Department of Sanitation of Los Angeles. On the right, you'll see a picture of what the alley could potentially look like. Going from left to right, our layout goes from East 40th Place to East Martin Luther King Boulevard. And we're going to be having a registration tent where community can get food tickets, giveaways. We're also going to be having an eating area tent where community can break bread together, enjoying food from On and Kraken. We're hoping to be sponsored by the Zapata King Neighborhood Council. And an art tent where local artists can present their photography, poetry, and art. A sound tent where performers will have a lineup of performers sharing spoken word, live beat making, and having local DJs. Live art will be led by Erica Montelongo on 2 temporary wooden pieces of wood. Community takeaways. 500 residents will be able to reflect on their strengths to create a sense of hope for the future. 250 of them will be able to take home a bag of supplies and other goodies.
Hi, everybody. So I'm Mercedes, and I'm part of the core team of the South Central artists. So here we have our core artists. We have Michelle Moro, Sandy Navarro, Angelica Romero, and myself. We're going to be photographing and documenting the event, as well as going live on our Instagram and all our social media platforms, and as well as showcasing some of our photography and artwork in the art tent. We have Erica Montelogo, who's going to be leading our live aerosol demo with residents, and who's also going to be showcasing her artwork. And as you met already, Will Flores, he is our organizer. He's going to be doing the emceeing, and he's going to be showcasing some of his poetry in the art tent as well. In addition, the day of the event, we are going to have producers and DJs. We're going to have producer DJ Warlock, the C84, J Matic. And our DJs, we have a duo Sonic Lounge and Duo Brothers, and our graphic and amazing graphic designer who's going to be creating the bilingual flyers to do the outreach to the community. For the timeline, we already started having logistical meetings, and we plan on doing so. To have all parties involved, we definitely it takes a village approach. So making sure that we're all bringing our ideas together to be able to have this event. And we're going to be doing it all throughout May, all these Saturdays. And by the 24th, we hope to have our finalized flyer so we can start promoting the event. For June, we look to outreach to community groups and also social media from Saturday, June 4th to the 10th. And then we're going to hit the ground running, canvassing to our local businesses, places of worships, residential houses, and also social media promotion from Saturday, June 11th to the 18th. And then on June 25th, having the South Central Community Resiliency event. Partners that we already have and potential allies, we have Council District 9 office, Zapata King Neighborhood Council, Resilience, A Place Called Home, South Central Historical Association, Wadsworth Elementary, On and Kraken, and Girls Club of Los Angeles. Now our budget. As you know, being an artist isn't easy, but we're definitely pulling through to bring goodness to the community. And so we are going to be compensating 14 artists from this $10,000 grant, a total of $8,050. We have marketing supplies for $250, project materials at $100, and other items at $900, and our contingency as well. If you can see, there are pink items. Those are items that have already been organizations have committed to donate. So we are requesting for $10,000. In addition, we're going to be having $2,100 worth of items donated for a total of $12,150. But this grant is just for $10,000. And here you will see the line items as well. So we have everything itemized as well if you want to look through that. And that is it for our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Commissioners, any comments or questions? I have just, oh, go ahead, Commissioner Gallardo.
Hi, I just had a question about, thank you for the detailed budget. Just questions about your permitting on there and, you know, how the resources from CD9 are intersecting your event, or, you know, how they're being helpful to your event.
That's a great question. So,
I think we need to mute
Commissioner.
thank you. That's a great question. So we're working closely with the Danette from Councilman Curran Price's office. They're working on solidifying the closure of the alleyway from 40th Place to Martin Luther King Boulevard. And we're also working alongside with Wadsworth Elementary School to lock in parking from which is adjacent to the alleyway. And working with the Resilience Organization and other organizations to help, because we're not a 501c3, their 501c3 status will help us lock in the parking so that community members will have access to the event. And we're also planning to have some signage going from Central Avenue to bring in people from the street over to the alleyway so that they know like what's going on in the area. So we're very thankful for working with the CD9 office and everyone.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
My question was, what time is it? And two, thank you for reading my mind about parking.
Yes. So it's from 12 to 3 p.m.
Okay. Are there any other questions from the commissioners? Then may I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Moved by Gallardo. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Jimenez, for second. Any other discussion? Let me take a roll call vote. Commissioner Vincent? While we see if he comes on. Commissioner Jimenez?
Yes.
Commissioner Gallardo?
Yes.
Commissioner Jefferson votes yes. And we can see that Commissioner Vincent is still with us. We just need to see whether he'll come on. Can I delay the closure of this vote till we figure out whether or not he's going to come on?
Is this Commissioner? This is Commissioner Vincent. You guys had muted me.
Oh, that's because there was a lot of talking in your background and we couldn't hear.
Okay, I'll mute it on this side then. It'll be easier. Yeah, I vote yes.
Thank you. All right. There's been a vote from all commissioners. The project passes. Thank you very much again for also paying the artists and for being a part of a project that is looking to activate the alleyways and make them look better. I didn't really realize that such a thing was going on, and I just think that is so absolutely wonderful. So thank you.
Thank you.
Nice job, William Mercedes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we have one more project in our Arts Activation Fund, and that is Sounds of Goodness, Wellness, Service, and Relief Festival. Mr. Espinosa.
That's right. This is a one-day event proposed by Shared Harvest Foundation, taking place at the Norman Houston Park in 4800 South La Brea, Council District 8. This is an event planned for June 18th, 2022, $20,000 grant request, which will support 20 artists and will reach an audience of 300 in person, 700 online. Representing Shared Harvest Foundation today is, in contrast to the agenda, is Dr. Bochi from Shared Harvest. Dr. Bochi, please unmute yourselves, introduce yourself to the commission as I prepare your presentation.
Of course, of course. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here and present. I am the Public Health Director for Shared Harvest, and I'm here to give you a little brief introduction to our project. So thank you, Ben. So we are planning to have an event called Sounds of Goodness Festival, and it's in honor of Juneteenth, which is happening on June 18th. It's actually Saturday, not Sunday. That's a typo. June 18th at Norman Houston Park in Council District 8. The event is going to be free to all participants, all people from all walks of life, and we are hoping to leverage the community partners, faith-based and non-faith-based partners to showcase arts as a healing modality for wellness in the brown and Black communities. This is a brief map of Norman Houston Park, and it showcases how it's going to be set up for the event to take place. Next. So what is the mission of our organization? We are focused on spreading compassion through wellness, service, and relief. So we are intentional about improving 4 equity pillars, which are health, education, financial, and digital assets. So the event is intended on connecting the community in a culturally and authentic way through culturally diverse local musicians, dancers, and artists. And we are hoping to also provide COVID testing and vaccination on site. Each artist is going to be able to perform from 20 to 25 minutes. We are anticipating over 300 people on site and 500 to 700 visitors online because the event will be live streamed. So we allow for participants or people who cannot be on site to still get access to it. We will provide mental health and screening resources to participants who will be on site. We hope to have healthy food vendors, as well as provide fitness education by having yoga class and allowing participants to take a hike through the trail. We are also hoping to showcase a documentary that was done about the work we have been doing with COVID-19, the impact of COVID-19 on the mental health and wellness of the population of brown and Black communities. Next. So we have a couple of artists already signed up, and some of the artists include a muralist who will create a mural right on site at the event, Afro-Cuban dance ensemble, mariachi band, Aztec dancers, Afro-funk dancers, yoga instructors, and some DJ and MC as well. So the event is going to be a well representation of the different ethnic background and cultural background within LA County. And we are hoping to increase health and wellness education for the community, to provide opportunity for local artists to showcase their creativity through their cultural expression, and to connect the community to our compassionate health advocate and navigators. And we are hoping that through this event, there will, we are offering art and music therapy that will mitigate anxiety, PTSD, and other mental health challenges post-COVID-19 pandemic. So here is a screenshot of our budget. Yeah, it's pretty tiny. And so as you can see, most of the funding is going toward the artists, DJ, performing artists, and creative artists. And then we designated some fund into marketing as well as project materials. So we are requesting a total of 20 grand. Next. So how are we planning on promoting the event? We have a dedicated landing page that we use for all of our events. So the events will be posted on the landing page. We are planning on reaching out to local media to be able to, tell them through a media alerts to tell them about the event so we can have them on site, present. We are going to reach out to our community-based organizations and partners, as well as use our social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter to be able to showcase the event. And we are also partnering with, of course, CD8 as well. And we're going to utilize our street outreach team to be able to help us get more information out to the community. And this is past events and the media coverage we have had in the past. CNN, Forbes, NBC, and ABC, as well as other top local media have been present at some of our past events. So we are hoping to reach out to them for this event as well. and I will stick around if you have any questions for me. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be able to share our vision with you guys.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, are there any comments or questions? And allow me to just add that I think it is really great that you're really utilizing the arts to engage in such a health-related subject matter right now, when we need to find all the ways possible to continue to bring people together. So thank you for that focus.
Thank you.
I just wanted to also compliment. I love the term or the concept, the arts are the sister science to health and wellness. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And I also want to commend you for the live streaming option, because I think certainly as we move into more in-person productions and presentations, I hope that, we acknowledge that virtual and live streaming options are a good practice of inclusion for folks who cannot be there physically or in person. So I just wanted to commend you for that investment.
Thank you.
Can I get a motion to approve this project?
I move to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Vincent. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Gallardo. If there's no further discussion, can we take a vote? Commissioner Vincent?
Yes.
Commissioner Jimenez?
Yes.
Commissioner Gallardo?
Yes.
And Jefferson is also a yes. Thank you very much, Dr. McKinney. We appreciate it. Looking forward to the event. By the way, I realized I didn't ask you, what time is it?
From 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
10 to 5. Thank you.
So thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Congratulations. Great. With that, thank you, Mr. Espinoza. Let's move on to our public art projects, item 9 on our agenda. And I believe that first project is Wings of Mexico. And Felicia Filer, there you are.
Hi. Yes, Felicia Filer, Acting Assistant General Manager, Director of Public Art. I'll be presenting the project apparently in its entirety. I had invited representatives from Recreation and Parks to join me, but it doesn't look like they're here. So I'm going to do my best to answer all the questions that you have and get this project through. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to try to share my screen. Oh. Scott, is Scott here? Scott, can you do the share
Yes.
for me? Because I'm trying to do too many things.
Sure. That'll be just a minute.
So while Scott is bringing up the image, I'll just refresh your memory on the backgrounds that the Wings of Mexico is a bronze sculpture that is actually going to be, has been gifted to the city of Los Angeles from Mexico City. The gift was actually given to the city in 2014. So I'd like to, in my staff report, I indicated that gift was in 2016. So I need to correct for the record that the gift was made in 2014. And the sculpture was temporarily put up for a press release, and during the time one of the wings was damaged, and so the city had to inspect its structural integrity. And because we did not have funds to restore the work at the time, the sculpture was basically packed and crated away It's been sitting in a city storage yard in good condition for the past 5 years. Thank you, Scott. And now that the city is hosting the Summit of the Americas in 2022, between June 6th and 10th here in Los Angeles, there was a desire to conserve the sculpture and get it installed in a publicly accessible location in time for the summit here in Los Angeles. So the location for the Wings of Mexico sculpture is at the Vista Point in Griffith Park. Next slide. And this will give you just an overview of the location. So there's Griffith Park in the lower quadrant, and then the red hatched area is the proposed location for the sculpture. And this location was selected because of its natural beauty. It's able to support the sculpture, able to support the structure. Also safety in terms of, there's security and there's minimal chance of it being vandalized. And also it's a publicly accessible place to people who visit Los Angeles from across the world. Next slide. Again, this is just more, context slides showing the relationship to the sculpture in context to the observatory and what's adjacent to the site. The proposed site is a concrete enclosure for utilities and then public restrooms hatched in blue. The next slide. And then just more detailed location zoning in on within the proposed location, exactly where the footprint of the sculpture will sit within that site. So the sculpture is the footprint, the overall dimensions of the piece is, well, I'll just maybe go down to the next slide, Scott, that shows more information. There we go. So that's the sculpture in its entirety. It consists of 2 hollow bronze wings with internal steel armatures. There are 2 vertical I-beams that you can see, and then 1 horizontal beam, and then the wings are attached to the sculpture. The 2 beams will serve as the footings. They run about 4 feet underground, and the sculpture, the actual entire footprint is at grade. Overall dimensions are 14 and 9.5 inches high by 8 by 7 feet wide by 10 feet by 10 inches long. The Bureau of Engineering is designing or has designed the footings and the sort of base foundation for the sculpture, and they're also designing a didactic plaque that will be roughly 4 feet by 8 feet wide. With the artist's name and information about the sculpture, both in English and Spanish, with the possibility of adding a QR code for other languages. Also BOE is taking care of the geotechnical and the structural designs and the placement of the piece. The decking is concrete, and it will include some textured hardscape that will indicate the public sort of path of travel. And the sculpture will be uplit with 2 uplightings. I know the drawing is showing 4, but I think it's just 2 now on either side to highlight the wings during the evening. Recreation and Parks Board had approved the project on April 7th, and their staff made a presentation to the Griffith Park Advisory Board in January of this year, to the Los Feliz Neighborhood Council in February, and then back to another Los Feliz Improvement District in April of 2022. So as I mentioned, we had hoped to actually have 2 actions occur today. One, to have the commission provide conceptual and final approval for the work at this location, but also to accept it into the city art collection. However, the Mexican Foundation is still completing our city application paperwork. So we will come back to the commission at a later date to formally accept the work into the city art collection. So today, the recommendation is to approve the concept and location in final form. And with that, I'll open it up for any questions that you have.
Thank you, Ms. Filer. Commissioners, do you have any questions?
I do. I understand that there are 28 other wings that the artist created, and they've been gifted to cities in other parts of the world. Do you know what additional cities in the US that have been gifted?
Oh, I think it's, well, first of all, I think it's an addition of 8, not 28, but I can double check that as well. And I don't have that information off the top of my head, but if that is something that you like, I'm happy to bring that back when we can find that out once we come back to formally accept it into the commission. I can give you more information about where this is in that addition of what those other cities are.
Yeah, it's more curiosity, and also to acknowledge that that it is an addition. Okay, and how so?
Excuse me a second, Commissioner Gallardo. Can we put the image back up again?
And when something is gifted like this to the city, to whomever, whomever is that individual or department or what have you, is there consultation with you during that process before it goes up here to vote for, I guess, acceptance into the collection? How does that, can you share that process a little bit with us?
Yeah, I think consultation is an interesting word choice. I think, most of especially a gift, an international gift, it goes to the mayor's office of, international protocol. So that decision really happens at the top. And then so we're sort of informed to help move that process, to move move the work through the process. But we typically don't, get a call saying, hey, would you like to take this into the gift? But there's been some diplomatic protocol and diplomatic discussion that has already taken place, and we just assist with making it happen and getting it in the collection.
Thank you for sharing that. That's all from me.
Commissioner Jimenez?
No, it just looks like a really kind of gorgeous project, and obviously very perfect for social media and the like. So it's very nice.
Commissioner Vincent, I'm sorry you can't see it. It's a lovely piece.
I have seen it. I reviewed it earlier.
I do have a question. The artwork is the wings, not necessarily the rectangular post holding it up, correct?
No, it includes the artwork includes the wings, the rectangular post, and the bronze inlays, the steel inlays on the floor, because the original design, the sculpture was raised on a pedestal. It was a base that was about set 3 feet above grade. And for ADA purposes, we can't have it sitting above grade. So it's the footprint of the work is now at grade, but it's mimicking the steel inlays are mimicking the original design of the base. So all 3 elements are included, make up the work.
It was the design that for that structure that's holding it up, is that the artist's design?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I asked the question because I just keep thinking about it being right there next to the observatory and the dome appearance of the observatory, and keep looking at it and thinking, gosh, how wonderful it would have been if the angled arches at the top were actually angled up at the top were much more curved or arched like, so that it tended to align with the mountains and the observatory. It's just such a stark structure. However, that's, you know, neither here nor there. This is going to be, as Commissioner Jimenez says, going to be loved by everyone. Later on, I'd love to have us have a conversation around understanding issues associated, a little bit more on our part, understanding issues associated with a donation and a donation sat for 5 years and et cetera. I just kind of want to understand how that works. But with that in mind, I think this is going to be wonderful. And at the same time, it still preserves the lookout for that space. So thank you very much. Can I have a motion to approve? And I believe we're approving concept and final is what I'm asking for. Unfortunately, commissioners, I need one of you to do it. I can't do it.
I move to approve.
Is that a motion for concept and final?
Concept and final.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
I'll second
Thank
it.
you, Commissioner. Thank you, I'm going to give that one to Commissioner Vincent.
Okay.
With no,
I was talking to him. I was thinking
I
about a
know
second,
you
so
were.
I have to share the wealth a little bit, right? Next time.
With no further discussion other than our appreciation to the City of Mexico for considering this gift to come to us. Can I get a vote? Commissioner Vincent?
Yes.
Jimenez?
Yes.
Gallardo?
Yes.
And Jefferson says yes. Thank you very much. We appreciate it very much. Thank you for doing that. And staff, at some other point, not now, we don't need to do it now. Can I'll ask you to give us a briefing a little bit to understand, to go just a little deeper in what Commissioner Gallardo brought up as a question, and even around this particular piece as an example of just understanding what's there.
Happy to do that.
Yeah, but thank you very, very much. For our City of Angels, this is perfect.
Yeah, I just also want to throw out for the record, acknowledging Colette Miller, who was the first artist to come up with this concept of, you know, wings as a backdrop for a selfie. So she always kind of gets lost in the mix because it is a very popular concept. So just wanted to acknowledge her.
That is absolutely apropos. Thank you. She started something, now it's growing. All right, well, with that, let's go to item B, the Neighborly Growth Mural. And I believe Debbie Ortiz, you're handling this particular presentation?
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Ms. Filer.
Hello, commissioners. My name is Debbie Ortiz, and I'm an arts associate in the Public Art Division and project manager for the Neighborly Growth Mural. The project name is the Neighborly Growth Mural. The location is at the One Generation Senior Enrichment Center at 18255 Victory Boulevard in Reseda. The owner is the City of Los Angeles. It's in the 3rd Council District with Councilmember Bob Blumenfield. The artist is Jason Chang, aka RFX1. The project amount is $12,081. The funding source is the Arts Development Fee Program. And the staff recommendation, we are requesting retroactive conceptual and final approval for this mural. This project does not have a history of going before the Public Art Committee, Councilmember Bob Blumenfield and the 3rd Council District and the Department of Cultural Affairs have commissioned artist Jason Chang to create a mural titled Neighborly Growth. The mural is one of 8 murals to be included in the Recita Rising Mural Festival. A little bit about the festival. It was first developed in the summer of 2020 during the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic as a social distancing safe alternative to the Recida Rising Art Walk, which had become a signature of the event of the Council District. Constant safety regulations set forth by the county and the city have created a challenge for the festival producer to obtain conceptual and final approval of the murals from the Cultural Affairs Commission in advance of the murals being completed. 1111 continued to work diligently and engage the council office, the Department of Cultural Affairs and the community in spite of the obstacles caused by the pandemic. And they created an inclusive community event meant to enhance the environment and support working artists. It was in the spirit and intention that the Resida Mural Festival occurred with tremendous support from April 28, 2022 to May 1st, 2022. And it included the Neighborly Growth Mural. For the artist selection process, a widespread call for submission was released to the San Fernando Valley and Recita communities via newsletters, social media posts, and email campaigns. Artists of all levels were invited to apply. The 1111 curatorial team selected artists based on experience level, location, technical ability, and enthusiasm to participate. The producers will speak on this in just a bit. The mural itself depicts an oak tree, which is a SoCal native, from sprout to fully grown through times and seasons. The oak represents wisdom, longevity, knowledge, and environment. And it takes many generations and many people who tend to the tree. The mural is painted on the exterior south wall of the One Generation Senior Enrichment Center, a city building operated by One Generation, and it measures 160 feet in length and 15 feet in height. The paint used for the mural is Dunn Edwards Low Sheen Evershield acrylic paint, as well as a layer of non-sacrificial anti-graffiti coating. Community engagement was a crucial part of this mural. A mural proposal public meeting facilitated by 1111 was conducted in March, and the community was also invited to participate in various other methods. 1111 will cover this shortly as well. The total budget for the Neighborly Growth Mural was $12,081 from a portion of the full Recida Rising Festival budget, which was $73,000 through the Arts Development Fee Fund and the mural funds. Costs were all inclusive and covered artist stipends, materials, equipment, marketing, project management, and contingencies. 1111 is currently in the process of applying and completing the anti-graffiti coating, to which at that point, the Department of Cultural Affairs, in partnership with the Council Office and the Office of Community Beautification, will be the primary stewards of the mural's maintenance going forward. The benefits to the mural is that it provides beautification, it activates the public space, and it instills neighborhood identity to the council district. It's for this reason that the staff recommends that the Cultural Affairs Commission provide retroactive, conceptual, as well as final approval for the Neighborly Growth Mural. With further details regarding the Neighborly Growth Mural, I'd like to introduce to you the producers of the Resida Rising Festival, Aaron Stone from 1111 Creative, and Addie Gonzalez Renteria. Go ahead, Aaron. Hi, Addie.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having us at this meeting today, and we're so excited to share with you first the One Generation Mural and a little bit more about the Mural Fest. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen if that's okay. You guys can see the neighborly growth piece, correct?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So let me skip ahead here for a moment. What I would like to show you first is the completed mural. This is the rendering up top and the completed mural on the bottom, with a little cameo from my dog as I took him to the park with me to to look at the mural. But I think, thank you, Debbie, for the introduction and the overview of the project. I think what I would really like to focus on is the three main points of community engagement, our professional development program, and our artist selection process. And then I'm happy to answer any questions past that. And then the next presentation where we talk about the Receda Theater, that's where I'd like to kind of expand on the Mural Fest altogether. So the artist selection process, 1111 has been doing public art and public events, creative events for over 12 years. So we have a vast network at this point. We absolutely engage social media, our newsletter, and community partners to promote the call for artists for all of our projects. I would say probably 95% of our projects. So this one was absolutely an artist call that went out widespread. Also, with boosts and advertising on social media to make sure that we were getting the attention that, you know, from local artists that we needed. And the reason why we chose Jason Chang, he is from the San Fernando Valley. He's Northridge born and raised, Korean American. And, you know, when I was talking to him about this mural, he was very intrigued about the senior center. When we spoke to the senior center about what type of design they would like to see, and because it is a collaboration with them, of course, they were like, you know, something multi-generational, something that shows like, you know, multiple generations kind of working together. Jason grew up, like I said, in a Korean household, multi-generation household, was raised by his grandparents, had his great-grandparents living with him when he was very young. And I thought that that was just a really amazing connection between the two. So he chose the oak trees, as Debbie mentioned, to kind of depict the many generations that go into caring for these long living oak trees. And it's also a Southern California native tree. So the other thing that I want to mention about this going into community engagement is this is just adjacent to Resida Park. It is a very highly populated area. You know, lots of people are going and using the picnic benches and everything right there. And as far as community engagement goes, this one was a little more difficult to get community engagement within the mural because everybody was on scissor lifts the whole time. So normally we would have invited the public out to come do community paint days, but given the liability, we couldn't have so many people on lifts. So what we did is we had kind of our staff meetings and our volunteer meetings and invited local schools to come out and view the artwork going up. So we engaged the local middle schools, high schools, and elementary schools. We did have a couple of classes bring their classes out for field trips. And then we had,
volunteers.
Oh yeah, and we had all of our volunteers set up for one day where they did kind of a mural open house speaking about the mural during the festival. So professional development, that with just a couple minutes here left, I really wanted to touch on that. 1111, one of 1111's main focuses of programming is professional development for emerging artists. We go after grants, we go after projects, we hire lead artists, and then we essentially employ emerging artists that either have very little mural experience or no mural experience to come be assistants and apprentices with lead artists. Not only does this really bring together community, and it has proven to be just like this magical, beautiful thing, seeing all of these artists at different levels working together. But we hope that this helps to stimulate the creative economy in the Valley, in this neighborhood, as well as help with the future of these emerging artist careers. So I would love to answer questions. If you have any specifics that I did not go over or Debbie didn't, please, I'd love to answer.
Commissioners, any questions?
You know what, since there are no questions right away, a couple more things I can add in.
Actually, I have one before you do.
Okay, go ahead. Sure.
And Debbie may be able to say it to me because I think it slipped past me in understanding this. This is already up, already installed. So we're looking at what it actually is. Yes?
Correct, yes.
And I want to just make sure I understand it got installed without coming to us first because of the COVID issues?
Correct. Staffing changes within PAD, the Public Art Division, and communication slowed down between all entities during COVID, causing a delay in anticipated dates. Yes.
Yeah, and just to clarify too, on 1111 side, we were running into a lot of kind of COVID related hangups, so we apologize for the lateness as well. But the team that was brought together and the result and the festival itself was also positive, so we do hope that you take all of the positivity into consideration as well.
I mean, first off, it's a wonderful and lively for the setting. And I love how the shadow of the existing trees are sitting on the mural. So it's sort of adding other flavors and depth to it. I just want to make sure that we are clear on our side about what happened. I'm not exactly sure if I understand how, if COVID kept the project from coming to us, how COVID didn't keep the project from being installed. So I'm a little lost. It would not stop me from saying that I won't approve this particular project, because it sounds like, in fact, it met with the kinds of community interests and concerns that everyone had. The end result is absolutely lovely for the setting, but COVID can't somehow or another stop one thing, like asking us to say yes or no. But COVID isn't enough to stop a bunch of people from coming together and getting on lifts and putting something up. I'm just confused.
Thank you, Commissioner, and I can address that. This is Tanya Picasso, also Public Art Division Arts Manager, working alongside Debbie on this project. And really, it's this project has been in the works since 2020, conceptually, right at the very beginning of the pandemic. And what happened was, the pandemic didn't stop the project from moving forward, but it did slow down in terms of the milestones that the project needed to meet, in terms of making sure that we were meeting with the commission in a timely fashion for conceptual approval. Nonetheless, there was extreme communication amongst 1111 and the council office, DCA and the council office, and the organization and the community. It was tying all of those pieces together and threading it to meet the schedule per our standard protocols for approval that was difficult to meet and get that in order. So we do apologize, but it was something that there was two different kind of parallel tracks with some communication happening, just not in the schedule that we would have ideally liked.
I'm not asking so much because I'm looking for apologies, as much as how anyone coming along doesn't think they can't do the same thing. The earth shook for 1 second. The pandemic was as complicated as you could possibly be. And with everything that shut down, including starting in 2020, a lot of things stopped. Whatever timeline anybody had went up in smoke. But somehow or another, this project needed to keep on its timeline, except for that one thing. So I would be inclined to absolutely approve the project as it was installed. But I want some real clear written clarification as to how this does not happen again. And no one else can think that they can come in and do something like this because, I don't know, we didn't have a meeting. Because we didn't have meetings for 2 sessions because some commissioners weren't there. So they just went ahead. That's what troubles me. And if the staff was engaged in any way in continuing to work on this, then somebody was engaged in working on this, and we were meeting. So it just throws me off. So I leave it up to our acting general manager, from my point of view, our acting general manager and our legal counsel, as to how we make sure that one does not think that this is a precedent that can be used again, and et cetera, because I'm not seeing why it happened, but I'm delighted with the end result.
Commissioner Jefferson, I support what you said, because it's not necessarily about this project and its process. We've had precedent. We've had projects that have come before us where this approval got lost in the mix somehow, and ensuring that all the partners involved understand the process clearly, regardless, because I agree, we were meeting during the very beginning of the pandemic. And I also want to say that I too love the end result. I know and trust 1111's work in community. All of those things. Please don't think that the process that we're talking about takes anything away from that. But there have been prior discussions about this and about the need to have this, circle closed in a way that meets established processes of approval. So I just wanted to support and also share my concern about this coming in retroactively.
Jumping in real quick, thank you for raising the concern, and thank you for also appreciating this great work that this is bringing forward, and in a sense really separating out those two things. So what, as a department, what we are trying to do, and this has been trying to make sure that this doesn't happen again. We are hiring staff and bringing more staff on to make sure, again, that we can support this, and that this is not intended to be a precedent, and that this is something that we want to make sure that it doesn't happen again. So we will, what I can tell you is our team will do our very best to keep this coming forward, and as we are continuing to navigate through staff moving to different sites and different departments and hiring, that we do our very best to be able to make sure this doesn't happen again. So thank you, and we concur. We would much more prefer to bring this to you through the processes that we have set up, which is why we have those processes. So thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other commissioner comments? Then can I get a motion for approval of what is in essence concept and final approval?
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Gallardo. Can I get a second?
Second.
And you can pull it off the screen so I can't see all my commissioners at the same time. We have a second. Is there, if there's no further discussion, can we get a vote? Commissioner Vincent, are you still there? I can't tell I can't tell if I still see you. I hope so. Can anybody see him on their screen? Oh my goodness. We may have lost him. If we did, that means we've lost quorum for purposes of the vote.
That's correct, Commissioner Jefferson.
Okay.
Oh wait, I think he's back.
Commissioner Vincent is back. Yeah.
Commissioner Vincent's back on.
close.
We're taking a vote. All in favor of concept and final approval of the Neighborly Growth mural. Commissioner Vincent.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Jimenez.
Yes.
Commissioner Gallardo.
Yes.
And Jefferson says yes. Thank you very much. And we appreciate everything everyone's done. We know that all of it's been done with good heart and intention. It's a shame when process gets in the way, but glad it was a good outcome. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you all so much for the support. So appreciated.
We have one more before we absolutely lose Mr. Vincent. Public Art Project Most Essential, Recida Theater Community Murals. Debbie Ortiz, you are on again.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
And by the way, and for coming and being relatively new and letting us grill you like that.
It's a learning experience. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Not a problem.
Okay. So the next project we have is the Resida Theater. The location is at 18443 Sherman Way in Reseda, at the Resida Theater. The owner is the City of Los Angeles Economic and Workforce Development and Council District 3, Council Member Bob Blumenfield. The artists, there are 9 different artists for this one: Jade Bell, Melissa Gutierrez, Ramiro Hernandez, Javier Lopez, Ignacio Mejia, Corinne Pulsinel, Ian Robertson Salt, Sarah Stone, and Ramon Valencia. The project amount is $31,970. The funding source is arts development fee, and the recommendation is once again retroactive conceptual and final approval. This project does not have a history of going before the Public Art Committee. Councilmember Bob Blumenfield of the 3rd Council District and the Department of Cultural Affairs have commissioned 9 artists to create the mural titled Resida Theater Mural. The artist, along with the corresponding panel, is included in the packet that you received. The mural is one of 8 murals to be included as well on the Recita Rising Mural Festival. The Recita Rising Mural Festival was once again developed in the summer of 2020 during the peak of the COVID pandemic as a social distancing, safe alternative to the Recita Rising Art Walk. Constant safety regulations set forth by the county and the city created a challenge for the festival's producers to obtain conceptual as well as final approval of the murals from the Cultural Affairs Commission in advance of the murals being completed. 1111 worked diligently and engaged the council office, the Department of Cultural Affairs, as well as the community in spite of the obstacles caused by the pandemic to create an inclusive event. As mentioned before, the Recita Rising Festival did occur from April 28th to May 1st, 2022, and it included the Receda Theater mural. The artist selection process was a widespread call for submissions that was released to the San Fernando Valley and the Recita communities via newsletter, social media, posts, and email campaigns. Artists of all levels were invited to apply. The 1111 curatorial team selected artists based on experience, location, technical ability, and enthusiasm to participate. The Recida Theater mural is located on the west-facing wall of the Resida Theater between Sherman Way and Recita Boulevard. The mural is a combination of 9 local artist designs depicting their version of the theme, Art to Empower. The mural measures approximately 23 feet in height and 130 feet and 9 inches in length in its entirety. Structurally, the west facade of the Recida Theater is sectioned into 8 panels, making up one full wall. Each individual panel measured 16 feet by 23 feet. The 9 artists chosen were each given a letter or a blank space making up the word Recita, along with 2 bookends. The mural depicts the participating artists' diverse backgrounds while celebrating their heritage, the planet, local SoCal native animals and plants, and tributes of the San Fernando Valley culture. Material used for the wall is done in Edwards acrylic paint, as well as non-sacrificial anti-graffiti coating. Community engagement was a crucial part of this piece. A mural proposal public meeting facilitated by 1111 was conducted in March, and the community was also invited to participate in the festival. The total budget for the Recida Theater mural was $31,970 from a portion of the full Recida Rising budget of $73,000 through arts development fee funds, as well as mural funds. Costs were all inclusive and covered artist stipends, materials, equipment, marketing, project management, and contingencies. 1111 is currently in the process of applying and completing the anti-graffiti coding, to which at that point, the Department of Cultural Affairs, in partnership with the Council Office and the Office of the Community Beautification, will be the primary stewards in the mural's maintenance going forward. The benefits to the mural is that it provides beautification, it activates public space, and instills neighborhood identity within the 3rd Council District. It is for this reason that the staff recommends that the Cultural Affairs Commission provide retroactive, conceptual, and final approval for the Recida Rising Theater mural. Once again, I'm going to pass it over to Aaron and Addie from 1111, a creative collective.
Sorry about that, I was muted. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Okay. So I wanted to bring up this photo first. This is our Mural Fest wrap photo of all of the artists that I would say 75%, some couldn't make it. 75% of the artists that participated in the Mural Fest with the Receda Theater as the backdrops. Just wanted to show you all that photo. And here we will go to the artwork. So I wanted to start off by mentioning that this was a wall that we spent a lot of time kind of conceptualizing. Some of you may not know how iconic the Resida Theater is to those that grew up in the San Fernando Valley. Apparently, it closed in 1988, but it was opened in the early 1900s for various reasons and turned into like a community theater, I think, by the 40s. It was just adjacent to the country club in Receda, which had bands like you would not believe that came through Receda. Led Zeppelin, Slayer, the Ramones, U2. I mean, the bands that came through Receda combined with the attention of the Resida Theater. Reseda used to be a cultural hub. It used to be a center point of the San Fernando Valley. And of course, with the Reseda Rising Initiative and with Bob Blumenfield's Reseda Rising Initiative and the work that 1111 does, we're trying to kind of get that back. So we saw the Resida Theater as the epicenter for the Mural Festival. As was mentioned, I won't go back through like the professional development again, same thing on this. We had 9 lead artists and 9 apprentices or assistants. So that was beautiful and kind of magical in its own way to see the collaboration and assistance that came up. But this being the epicenter, it was, you know, kind of conceptually and even intellectually, emotionally, it was very like, what do we put on this wall? Like, how can we sum up the diversity of Receda, you know, and the center point of the San Fernando Valley? So this was a solution that we came up with rather than 1 artist and 1 idea, we hired 9 artists, 9 assistants, and each artist was given a letter, and Art to Empower is the theme. That was the only restrictions that they had, the only guidance they had, and they came up with their own designs regarding Art to Empower, incorporating their letter, which, as Debbie mentioned, spells out Receda. It's a little hidden, but when you look closely and you see, it's like, oh, that's, you know, it's a surprise at the end. So, you know, we kind of look through themes of cultural iconography, water conservation, local Southern California, you know, flora and fauna, empowerment of women and girls through Melissa Gutierrez's piece. So, you know, we kind of really wanted to get multiple stories, multiple perspectives in here. The community engagement on this wall it was also a little bit tricky. We had to get permission from the gas station. It was actually a 76 station that we had to work with our insurance company and everything to gain access and get the lifts on there. We had 5 lifts and a boom, or 6 lifts and a boom lift. So it was a little more difficult than anticipated to get like the community to kind of come in and participate and paint with us. So we did have smaller groups of people come in and work with the individual artists just to, you know, put some paint on the wall. We also had a mural open house where we were there at the site. That, you know, myself as the head curator and our education department was all there talking to public. We had so many teenagers come by, you know, also school field trips, so a lot of the same stuff. And the neighboring businesses, and, you know, they all came out and participated and rooted everyone on, all the cheers from the cars. So all in all, the Mural Festival, you know, the choice of these walls was also by design. We really wanted to do a couple of public walls. We really wanted to get a couple of these public walls with murals that are then registered with the city. We felt that it was really, really important to diversify the locations that we were putting murals on. And this iconic wall was the perfect place for a community mural like this. I also want to just kind of throw out there that this was the first ever San Fernando Valley Mural Fest, as well as what I'm aware of is the first ever city-sponsored mural festival. So with 6 locations, 8 murals, and then an additional kind of 8 murals on this wall. It was quite a feat, and the response has been amazing. And that's my 5 minutes. So I'm happy to open up for questions again.
Commissioners, any questions or comments?
Hi, this is Commissioner Vincent. Can you
Yes.
hear me?
Yes.
I lost you and then just came back.
I had the pleasure of touring this while it was under being created with the council member. And having grown up just a few miles away, this is such a wonderful addition to the whole community. And in particular, I've been following the work of one of your artists, Sarah Stone, who had in particularly just a riveting panel in the mural. And I think this is going to make a wonderful addition to the Recida community and to Sherman Way.
Yeah, thank you so much, Vincent. We totally agree, of course. I mean, it's transformative. Like, I grew up in the San Fernando Valley. I grew up in Canoga Park area. Driving by this intersection of Recida and Sherman Way was something that I did weekly. I'm 38 years old. I passed this wall for 38 years. And I honestly, I have tears when I pass it at this point. Like, it truly is one of those blighted intersections that is just so jam-packed full of traffic with kind of nothing that eases your eyes or eases your, the stress for a moment. And the beautification, the mural, the representation is really powerful for this neighborhood.
Yeah, and that era is such an icon of the 1970s San Fernando Valley that I'm sure they're going to do a Licorice Pizza Part 2 there.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if Paul Thomas Anderson comes and does some shooting of our mural, that would be fantastic.
Exactly.
So thank you. Thanks for the support. I'm glad you like it too.
Thank you very much.
Always nice when we get to see it live. Are there other commissioner comments? I want to make sure that the comments that I made before with regards to this being a retroactive approval and how did it happen applies just as strongly to this project as they did to the other one. And since they are both in Council District 3, it means we've got projects happening in a council district where the council district itself also knows what the rules are, and somehow or another things are going up. And all it takes is one citizen to come back and go, how come they didn't get to do it? I wanted to do it, what, etc. So I'm again not commenting on I'm not negating the outcome. I am just simply saying, when you have two things happen in the same place, the first one was an accident. After that, there is a pattern of procedure. And I know that the staff and the team will certainly look into that issue. With that, if there are no other comments, etc., and congratulations to all the artists for creating something of enormous, wonderful size and scope. Can you just talk to us a little bit about what your anti-graffiti plans are for this particular site?
Yeah, absolutely. Before I do that, I just wanted to acknowledge the procedure, and we're very apologetic that we were unable to meet the deadline and are much more clear about the procedure now. So I don't think that you'll be hearing from 1111 asking for this again, but we so appreciate
I don't think so either, so it's okay.
So the anti-graffiti coding, the Mural Fest just finished up, and we've been in contact with Debbie and are in the process within the next couple weeks of hiring and applying. So that should be completed very soon. Still have the finances available in the budget. We're just waiting for the response phone call to get it scheduled. So anti-graffiti coding will be applied to actually all of the murals that were painted during the festival, including One Generation and Resida Theater.
But I guess I think my question is there a what I'm going to call a plan in place for the monitoring and then going back in and dealing with cleanup and repair?
Yes, correct. Right now, we're working with the Office of Community Beautification to apply it, and going forward between DCA, the Office of Community Beautification, as well as the Council District, there is a plan in action if there is any repair necessary.
Great. I mean, it's beautiful work. I'd hate to see anything happen to it. But I also know that I just want to make sure we keep on our radar that those are things that we just have to keep up with.
Definitely.
Yeah. If I can just add in one more thing, I don't want to take up too much time, but in regards to maintenance, we also, it is standard that 1111's contracts have a couple of years. The artists are contracted for a couple of years to touch up their artwork, with additional stipends covered by 1111 provided. So we are on top of maintenance on that side as well. And I did want to just mention that 70% of the artists on the Resida Theater wall, and actually 70% of the artists on the One Generation wall, are all local to the San Fernando Valley. And since I'm looking at these stats, I might as well tell you that 70% were POC also. So they're mostly local, and we're all looking after it. We're all looking after these murals.
And know that these are the kinds of questions we would be asking. We would have asked them in advance before we got to this point. So it's just making sure that we understand what's there. Commissioners, is there any further discussion on this project?
I love when our city council members support art and good arts community rooted arts organizations, and we need to close that loop so that the retroactive doesn't come back. Just reiterating that. And also I know that collaborations and partnerships across groups are like herding cats sometimes. So acknowledging that, and also wanting to uplift the work that was really at the very beginning of this, Recita Rising Art Walk and Festival. That was 1111's. It was the relationship amongst artists. It was the trust and mutual benefit that grew out of that first, the very beginning. So I want to congratulate, honor, and also uplift 1111 for that work, and also all the supporters that kind of came along as time went on. So congratulations for this amazing milestone in your history, and representing the San Fernando Valley's artists and cultural bearers. So thank you for that. That is all from me.
Can I get a motion for concept and final approval of the work that is now installed?
So moved.
There's a move from Gallardo. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Jimenez. Let's take a vote. Commissioner Vincent, are you still with us? I'm looking for your name.
He is still present. Press star six to unmute yourself, Commissioner.
Okay, this is Commissioner Vincent. I vote yes. I got muted there.
Yes, not a problem. Thank you. Commissioner Jimenez.
Yes.
Commissioner Gallardo.
Yes.
Commissioner Jefferson votes yes. Congratulations. Thank you. And for adding to the beauty of Recita.
Thank you so much. It won't happen again.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. I'm going to move us real fast to the next item. I just don't want to lose Commissioner Vincent. We have architectural submissions, and for CA002 Los Angeles Crenshaw 010. This is for final approval. You guys going to pick this up for me, or?
This is
Thank you, Tammy. Miss Sand, I'm sorry.
Project XA is a project that came before you last month, and they are back. Karina will be presenting new pictures and describing the box, really detailing out the questions that the commission had last month. Karina, can you please unmute yourself?
And while she's while those are being pulled up, commissioners, these are approval of conceptual and final design for above ground facilities.
If you're joining by phone, press *6 to unmute yourself.
Karina, are you still with us?
We can proceed.
Hi, sorry, I had a hard time muting myself. I've lost my internet connection, but I am on by phone.
Okay.
I apologize for the time. My presentation is not as beautiful as everything that came before. Maybe if I was still in architecture school and we can do a beautiful mapping of all of these beautiful substructures that we so often take for granted and overlook. So we came to you last month with the same project. You asked for more pictures of the meter pedestals. So I brought the PowerPoint presentation with some more images of sites that have already been built and have the meters installed. We have a couple of different ones from all over, from near El Segundo to the valley. They come in different sizes, so you're going to see some are a little wider than others. The one that we are proposing is the second smallest one available. And in the first slide, you would actually see the meter pedestal in the open position, where you can actually see
Sorry,
that.
Karina, hang on one second.
Yes.
It's Juan, it's CA002 Los Angeles Crenshaw 010.
Yes.
Yes, if we go towards the bottom, that's where the pictures are.
Sorry, I moved too quickly.
Can you scroll down to the pictures? Right. Okay, Karina, please continue.
Okay, sorry. So for the first slide, you'll see the meter pedestal in the open position, and you can actually see the glass meter visible. That would be visible once the meter pedestal is closed, and that is what the reading comes from for the power consumption. So as I had explained before, the meter pedestal functions much like your sub panel at home, where it's drawing power to the site that it's powering, the cell site that it's powering on the adjacent utility pole, and it gets read, and that's how the carrier gets billed. So it actually has a panel on the exterior for the actual installation part, which gets locked, and the only thing that's ever used is the little window really to read the meter. It comes in 3 different colors. Actually, it comes in like a stainless steel finish as well, which is not really been very popular. So we typically go with whatever is existing in the area, whether it be a gray color, a green, or a dark green. In this case, it's a light gray. Any questions?
Commissioners, any comments or questions? And one, thank you very much for coming back to us with clarity on the design. I think one of our issues just has to do with looking for consistency of signage, et cetera. I believe I've shared that thought with Tammy Sam before. So that's one. And then two, as I look at these, I realize that we've never asked a certain question, and that is, what's the maintenance plan for these boxes?
So typically, the power provider will place the address on the meter box. In this case, it's LADWP. There's also a small sign that gets placed on it that has a phone number to call for anti-graffiti. It's actually coded with anti-graffiti, and there's a number to call when it gets, if and when it gets graffitied, to take care of it.
But is that the only circumstance under which it gets taken care of? In other words, we're looking at a picture right now where there's clearly two boxes that are rusting. What's the repaint schedule?
It does get inspected, like I said, by LADWP pretty regularly. So I don't know what their policy is on the maintenance of the actual meter pedestal. I know if the carrier gets called, that they go out immediately. I'm not sure what LAWP's procedure is for the same.
In other words, once you turn it over, the maintenance of the box is in their hands, not yours?
That's correct.
So
We typically get called if there's a problem with the site shutting down, or anything on the utility pole.
So for me on that point, it would just be then to just ask the staff to make a note that at some point we probably need a conversation with DWP with regard to their maintenance plan, so that boxes continue to look like they are in good condition, not rusted condition. And I'm sure the meter works just fine. Are there any other commissioner comments? Great. Can I get a motion for approval? This would be final for this particular site. Final approval for the C8002 Los Angeles Crenshaw 010 site.
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Jimenez. I need a second.
A second.
Thank you, Mr. Benson. No further discussion. All in favor? Gallardo.
Aye.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Benson. Sure. Mr. Jimenez.
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Gallardo.
Yes.
Thank you. Charmaine says yes. Thank you. We appreciate your going back and coming back to us with some clarity as to what we were looking at. Feel free to quietly say to them that at least I was curious as to, so when it starts to rust out, what happens?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
All right,
you.
let's go to item B, DTLA 151B.
Item B and C are both presented by the same person, Caitlin Parson. The commissioners can take these two items up together. Caitlin, could you unmute yourself and share your screen?
Hello, Tammy. Can you hear me? My name is Zach Gannon with Motive Infrastructure Solutions. I will be representing AT&T Mobility for these two projects.
Okay, will you be presenting then?
Yes, please.
Okay, please share your screen.
Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
All right, so jumping into SCL DTLA 151B. This project is in the public right-of-way. AT&T Mobility is planning on installing a new wireless facility, as mentioned, public right-of-way. This will include a 31-foot, 6-inch tall steel texture-coated concealed fab with a new foundation. You can see the existing photo here, and this would be the after. We are including a meter pedestal that will be installed along with the proposed pole, antenna, and radio units. The placement of the facility in the subject property is necessary. It will improve coverage area, data capacity, as well as enhance voice service affecting the vicinity and surrounding area, including text, calls, emergencies, so on and so forth. As mentioned, this was the existing, this is the proposed, and here are different views for the project.
And it's the same pole and box proposed for project 134B as well?
That is correct. So 134B, this is the location. We've got the existing, proposed, similar equipment, similar radio, and similar meter pedestal as well.
Comments, commissioners? I certainly will note our appreciation for the containment and neatness of the pole that goes next to the box. It's one of the issues that we've been wanting to see happen, and this looks great.
I too wanted to point this out as a good example of what we like to see. And feel free to communicate that.
Will do. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for also the context. Placing it in its context for us to be able to see its surrounding relationships.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Commissioner, I'd like to give a hats off to Terry Sam, who's been working with the utility folks to get them to present their information this way so that you understand exactly what you're looking like. So this is really the fruits of her labor.
Shout out. Are there any other commissioner comments? Can I get a motion to approve for both DTLA 151B and 134B, the AGF concepts presented for concept and final approval in both instances?
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Gallardo. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Jimenez. Any further discussion? All in favor, Jimenez?
Yes.
Vincent?
Yes.
Thank you. Gallardo?
Yes.
Jefferson says yes. Thank you very much. We appreciate this.
Thank you very much.
And I give a shout out also as well to Tammy, because she grouped it together so that we could get through it and not go back and forth, and just got all of our coverage. And I must tell you, Tammy, it wasn't until we were looking at a box that was rusted that it started to occur to me. We just spent all our time talking to the muralists about how they maintain the murals and what they're going to do and the upkeep and etc. And we've never actually had a conversation when we've looked at these AGF boxes around. So who looks up and goes, it's rusted, time to paint it again. So when you're back talking to folks, you can ask them that, and then we can feel free to make sure they're held to the same standard as the people who created the gorgeous artwork.
Sure. I will reach out to my colleagues in the different departments, the AGF team and the rest of the teams to better understand their maintenance plan.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. And for enduring us continuing to hit you with these little tiny nuances. You've been magnificent. We have one more item. We're on street lighting submissions, item 11. matching street lights for Figueroa Street, Barrington Avenue, and Griffith Park Boulevard. They are the light poles that you're seeing as CD 951 and CD 953, if I am not mistaken.
I want to point out here, item A was presented last month. There was a typo and it is supposed to be matching the rest of the street lights.
Okay. So we're re-voting on it according to what it actually is supposed to be.
Right. Last month's, there was a typo and they corrected it and now it's correct.
Okay. Great. So can I get a motion to approve the matching street lights for Figueroa Street, Barrington Avenue, and Griffith Park Boulevard? They're items A, B, and C on our agenda.
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Jimenez. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Gallardo. Commissioner Gallardo, how do you vote?
Yes.
Jimenez?
Yes.
Benson?
Yes.
Jefferson says yes. Congratulations, it's done. We have all items that required a vote. Commissioner Vincent, if you can hang on to this a little while longer, we'd love to hear the general manager's report because we're actually have a moment to be able to hear it for a change. You're on, Daniel.
Thank you. And before we go to that, do we want to just continue the nomination of officers item 12? Shall we do that
Did
first?
I skip something? I'm sorry.
And then I'm
Yes,
happy
I
to.
did. I just turned the page. My apologies.
Let's do that
the
first. And
nomination
then
of
I'll-
officers and extension of the term of current officers through July. We will come back at the next meeting to nominate. Is that correct?
Correct. I think
Yes.
what we can do is likely we can nominate and vote. And I think maybe the commission can take an action that will extend the term of the current officers up to July 2022 if it's needed.
Or through July 2022, unless we take a vote in June to change it for July.
Correct. Correct.
Okay. So I'd like a motion to approve the extension of the term of the current officers through July 2022.
I second.
So moved.
Great. We had a Vincent move and a Gallardo second. She just anticipated. I love it. Any further discussion? And just know, guys, this is because we weren't going to have everybody here and we needed to make sure everybody knew we were doing this and to give the staff also a chance to figure out who has the ability, et cetera, to serve in the positions. If we can take the vote at the next meeting, we will, and then they'll take the term in July, or we'll take the vote in July, and they'll take the term in August. But either way, we've given ourselves some protection. With that, can we take a vote? Commissioner Vincent?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Jimenez?
Yes.
Commissioner Gallardo?
Yes.
Jefferson says yes. Thank you very much. Sorry about that, Mr. Interim General Manager. I just turned the page too fast.
No problem. I will jump in and just give a quick update. So wanted to just let everybody know that we have launched our 2022 Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month calendar and cultural guide as we recognize Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. We're really excited about the calendar of in-person and virtual events that celebrate the extraordinary range of AAPI experiences and cultural traditions thriving in our unique city. We also wanted to just let you know that class sessions and events are underway at many of our art centers, and we've been able to welcome back our communities both our department managed and our partner art centers. We've also returned to our sites a few days a week now, so we are now in our main office and are working on making sure that we can get our commission room outfitted for the commission. So we will keep you posted. Likely June will remain virtual and we'll continue working towards bringing everybody back in person. Also just wanted to provide a quick update on the Vision Theater. So the RFP proposals are still undergoing careful review, and DCA will provide additional information when it's available. Also wanted to just give a few updates. So on hiring, we're continuing a hiring process and continuing to bring on new staff, both full-time and part-time. These positions are critical as we look at our reconstitution and programming. And we're also looking at ways to better let the public know about these positions, both through larger publication throughout different avenues of communication, as well as through the department's website. And we're really excited both to look at filling full-time and part-time positions. As far as our reconstitution goes, as I mentioned, we have several of our art centers already doing on-site programming, both outdoors and welcoming our communities back. And we're looking at kind of a much larger summer reopening of our art centers as we look at summer camps and programming to welcome our communities back. We're really excited about that. Lastly, I just wanted to give an update on the budget. The mayor released his proposed budget for the coming fiscal year, for fiscal year 22-23. And the proposed budget adds significant resources to address homelessness. It also calls for new public safety resources as well as other citywide infrastructure programs, and really addresses the city's reserve fund. So the city council's committee, the Budget and Finance Committee deliberation began about a week and a half ago, and the department had its budget hearing a week ago, last Monday. And it went, I have to say, we really are appreciative of the continued support of the Budget and Finance Committee. They looked at our budget, they asked questions and wanted to really be supportive of restoring and funding all of our positions initially proposed for deletion through the separation incentive program, and to additional funding for the department's capital improvements. So that was what was included in the mayor's proposed budget, and the committee supported that. So through the Budget and Finance Committee process, the department advocated for the restoration of one position that had not been continued in the budget. And we also responded to questions on a range of areas, from conservation of murals to staffing needs to our reconstitution. So we are eagerly awaiting the release of the CLA's budget report, which will come out on Friday. That'll be the conclusion of the Budget and Finance Committee's meetings. And then it'll go to the full council for public comment next Wednesday, and then to be heard by the council on Thursday. So again, wanted to just thank everybody here, our commissioners, for the continued support as we continue to move forward, and for the thoughtful conversation, and to our staff that have really been supportive of what we need for the commission, and continuing to bring items forward. So thank you all, and appreciate it.
I'm gonna follow up with Daniel to see whether or not we can know about when they do the installation at the observatory, because it has such international ramifications that if there's a way that the DCA agency, along with the Parks Department and others, are there, then it just lifts up the importance of the agency in this role for all of the projects that are going on. So I just, if I get more information, we'll pass it back. And then if any of us have time to be able to be there on the day that it happens to be installed, it'll be a great shout out for international exchange and the role of DCA.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is there any mechanism, on my own, I go to some of these events or see some of these projects, but is there any kind of a formal way in which the commission members are invited to the openings of these projects that we're approving, or would have some kind of opportunity to even review them beforehand?
Like, I can't speak to opportunities beforehand. We can certainly look into that. And as far as the unveiling of these projects, absolutely, we can certainly keep you posted as we're made aware of those unveilings and those announcements. So absolutely, we will. And as we talked about at the last meeting, we are working, and hopefully in the next few months, we'll be able to bring on an executive admin assistant who will be able to serve as a commission assistant. They'll be able to communicate with you all about other events and other things that are happening. And in the meantime, we will continue to do the best that we can to be able to keep you all updated.
I'm particularly interested in the new light poles being installed.
Joke.
I think you're.
I got it. I got it, Commissioner Vincent, immediately.
Thank you, Commissioner Jefferson.
We'll make sure you're notified on all the upcoming light pole installations for sure, Commissioner Vincent.
Don't forget AGFs.
If you
Don't
had
forget the AGFs.
I was gonna say, if you had been on the Zoom, the frozen faces were like, really? And I knew you were joking. So that was wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a request for our next meeting, Daniel, from you and or staff. Just a general summary, because I've been approached and asked about this. A general summary of how you and your team approach panel recruitment and composition, just for our information and also for us to share.
Okay, sure. We'll be able to look into that, and we'll provide an update on that.
No problem.
And then I only had.
I imagine.
Mm-hmm.
I had one question, and it wasn't on our agenda, so I wasn't sure if I could ask, and that was just, is there an opening scheduled for Destination Crenshaw as well, or is it not, or am I too soon in asking that question?
No, you're not. My involvement in the project is over once I brought it to commission. I do believe that the project is behind schedule. And I am still in contact with, the staff there to remind them that they have to bring the one project back, with Kahinde Wali to get final approval, and at the same time make a presentation on the parklets so that you can see how those designs look in relation to the artworks, and then the sort of build out of the sort of walkway at Sankofa Park. So they are aware of that. And all I can do is send them an email once a month to say, don't forget, you have to come back, to the commission. So, but I haven't heard anything in about a month now.
The issues with regards to the District 3 approvals is what made me think, better ask, so that we don't look up and that one went past us as well. But thank you for that. Congratulations on the support of the budget committee. If there's, I know that is some hard work. So if there's anything that you need us to do or say or support, we're right there for you guys. And for all of the adjustments that you all have made, as you try to not only shift from whether we're on Zoom or not on Zoom, are we in the office or not in the office, but all the new staff and everybody who had to be brought on board, and you guys just like hung in there with us. I'm sure you were sticking voodoo dolls in me somewhere in the background, but boy, did you come forward, and it shows, and it made this so much easier. So thank you very much. And Commissioner Vincent for staying on the line while you were in the dental office.
Yes, I also want to commend Juan and Tammy for just making this easy process and helping us out there. Thank you.
Yeah, add Mr. Espinosa and Ms. Filer in there. You guys, you knocked it out of the park. Good job, Daniel.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Mr. General Manager. I shouldn't be so informal.
Thank you to you all for it, and I know that the appreciation for our staff goes a long way. We definitely appreciate our staff, but it's very meaningful coming from you all too.
Got it. All right, it's 3:40. Go have some lemonade.
Thank you, Commissioner Jefferson,
Oh, wait,
for making this
I-
so
I-
smooth also.
I should add, we
Well
have
done.
wait, no, see, but I'm messing up already. Our next meeting is June 8th. And the next commission meeting submission deadlines is May 18th. So if anyone wants something that they need approved, that's got to come to the June 8th meeting. They've got until the 18th to get it done. With that in mind, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Look at how exciting he is now. He must have that dental
Yes.
morphine going mask on you. Going on.
I'm on my way home.
Good. All right. Well, be safe. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Gallardo. All in favor? Commissioner Gallardo.
Yes.
Vincent said yes. Gallardo said yes.
Yeah.
Amina said yes. Charmaine Jefferson says yes. Thank you all. Have a good evening.
All
Thank
right.
you, everybody.
Bye.